people with very good hearts called me, took time to pray with me, and to wish me very well. And just within this period, a greater number of them, particularly elder statesmen, have got me to appreciate more than I have thought what it is that I do on Newsfile, and also with my takes, what Samson's take, which I have now rechristened Anyenini Legal Light, has done to them, and how they look forward to it every day.
They are not alone.
Right.
They are not alone. We all do. Now, Samson, I've got to ask you this, and I'm aware as I ask you that this is not really a question for you. It's probably a question for the GJA. But I know how deeply you like to think about things, so I have no doubt you've thought about this. Why do you think? Well, what is it that you think made you the winner this year? What is the thing that, or one or two or three things that you think have happened this year that have made you this year's winner?
I have only been able to discern that or see that from the citation that they presented. Aside that, like I said, on the night, I wasn't expecting anything. I just work. And I don't think I've done anything different 2019 than I had done the previous year or the years before that. So, and even when they announced this, I was unaware. For about 2 weeks that the nominations were out there, I had no idea. It was Friday that somebody called me, said, "Congratulations on your nomination." I said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "You're one of those guys nominated." I said, "Well, if you know me," and that's a friend, if you know me, you know I have this, attitude to awards. I don't enter them for one reason or the other. I don't know. I just don't enter them. And there has even been a point where an awards organization, the RTPs, they call it, kept entering me for about 3 years without even consulting me. And I had the occasion to tell them to stop. And that I was not interested. And they still even went ahead. I had to go public to say I was not interested. And then they went ahead. Somebody actually attended the program and picked the award on my behalf. This place used to be the newsroom.
Oh, yes.
So it used to sit somewhere around here. I never touched it until I didn't know where it vanished to. So I don't work thinking there should be some award somewhere. I just work. That's it. But when I look at the citation, it even humbles me a lot more, and it tries to help me to focus that people have been paying attention to some things.
And we have been digging. You know what we do when we are expecting a guest. We do a bit of research. So we've been digging. And we've been learning so much about you, and it's quite clear that this attitude that you have has been the way you do things from the very beginning. Somebody said I should say Mikwesi to you.
Makwesi. That's your very stubborn
Makwesi. What's the story there?
When he was at the front desk at Love FM.
Yes.
And when I got there, I finished University of Ghana, my first degree, English, Theatre Arts, combined. And
you did theatre art?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so I
can't picture Samson on the stage.
Yes,
can you?
Yes.
I can't.
Okay, I don't want to say what I have to say. I've acted. I've done some of the very major plays at the University of Ghana School of Performing Arts. Yeah. I've played a role in Macbeth.
Wow.
I have done the main character Odewale in The Gods Are Not to Blame.
Wow.
Yeah, I've done several other plays, and it was a very interesting period. And when you are the main character, the lines you have to commit to memory. And doing School of Performing Arts and doing English department, and then doing also classics and doing the religious department, what that meant was the reading list was a load.
Huge.
Every semester.
Yeah.
every semester for the English department and theater department only. I thought every semester I was reading close to about 20 different, novels and stuff put together. Yeah. And so if you have to take a role, that also meant quite a lot.
No doubt that prepared you for law school, where reading is basically the lifeline.
Yeah, I've been reading the Bible the same way that I commit these other things to memory. So it did appear to be that the rehearsals had been done through my work as I've been a young preacher. I did a lot of that, Scripture Union, for almost all my life.
These are things I'm sure lots of people didn't know about you. They just see what you do on Newsfile. They know you to be a lawyer and a journalist, and that's about it. And I'm going to ask you a question about that, actually, combining these two professions in a bit. But first, I have a bit of a surprise for you. There's somebody who would certainly like to share their congratulations. This is your former boss at Love FM, Dominic Gajepu.
Oh,
Dominic, good morning.
Samson.
Hi, Dom.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Dom. Thank you.
I knew it was going to happen. It was just a matter of time.
Thank you, Dom.
And I'm glad we've got you, Dom, because you were one of his very first bosses, right? Tell us, what was he like, as an employee back then?
Samson joined multimedia as a national service person after he had finished his first degree. Such a gentle soul. He would do anything you'd asked for. And one thing that endeared me to him so much was the fact that there was a day I needed a report for a client. And at the point when I told him, he had another assignment. But he was able to work his way around to be at that particular bench for the client.
Wow.
And just after his reportage at the client's premises, he left. I didn't even know he had left. So after a while, the client was like, I'm looking for Samson. I need to give him something for transportation. And Samson was gone. And from that day, I said, no, this guy is a different person. It was about the job, not about what was going to fill his pocket at that time.
Indeed.
And in the afternoon, he did a good story. In the evening, he did a very good story for the client. On and on, calm, hardworking. So at the point, I was taking my annual vacation. And his national service was also going to end. So when I was leaving, I was doing my handing over notes to Mr. Charles Van Dyke.
Oh, yes.
It was for him. It was for Patrick Osage, my countryman. I said, no, we need to retain these two people. And I still have a copy of that memo in my files. My personal files.
Wow.
Yes. And he was so concerned about me. Even when he was in Joy and I was still in Kumasi, periodically he would speak to me. And there was a time I needed attorney advice, and he was there. So he started with not looking for money, but I believe that with time, money will come. It was all about the job. Samson, I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy you made it this far. And I think the sky is the limit.
Thank you, Dom. You bring memories, and including the memories of the morning watching sessions with yourself, with Jibe, and also with Echo. Yeah.
Wow.
He just spoke about things that I forgot, but he just reminded me of them.
Yeah.
And I remember being called into a meeting by Charles Van Dyke. In fact, I have said Charles Van Dyke is the one who sort of discovered me. He came to Legon. I was Equafo Hall president, JCR. Then we're doing an event. It was a holiday, and we decided that we will turn the holiday into an opportunity to mobilize blood for the Kolibo Blood Bank.
Okay.
So when he came, Charles Van Dyke came around, I was having the megaphone, running around the various halls of residence, calling students to come out and to donate blood. And he said there was something he realized about me, and so said, would you want to do radio? I said, well, it's the last thing on my mind. I'm thinking, I came to Legon to do law, but the year I went, they had scrapped the law for undergraduate. And I had to settle for English, theater art, classics, and history, and religion.
So you were looking for a way back into law?
Yes, and I told him, look, my mind is on law ultimately, and some, international diplomacy, so to speak. The nice things you think about within certain periods of your life. And then, just when we finished, I felt it was a good idea. So I reached out to him. I said, yes, I'm interested. He said, okay, get ready to come. And they posted me to Konongo, to a school to teach. And then it was worked out, and I was taken to Love FM to begin my work
National service.
Right.
And of course, you've never looked back. And by the way, thank you so much, Dominic, for that trip down memory lane. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wow. You've led me to the next thing, the thing I've always been curious about, but never had the chance to ask you. Do you see yourself more as a lawyer or a journalist?
In the last 10 years, since I was called to the bar, I have been very busy. I've been busy from the next day after I left the law school. I got to Gates Wellness Hills. It's a law firm in Osu.
Yeah.
So it was a very busy place. I think it still is a very busy law firm. And so I had too much work, just too much work. There were days, single-handedly, I will attend to about 6 different cases.
Wow.
Within the court premises around the place. And what it means is that you need preparation for all 6 different cases. Okay? So it just immediately after I got in, I discovered that it was not going to work to do the 2.
Yeah.
I was editor here at the time, so I came, spoke to my heads, and I threw in my resignation. I was actually told, I just wait, finish the elections 2012, and then you check out. So I just waited whilst we were doing election headquarters. Then I think I wrote the letter, and then I was allowed to leave, and afterwards I was given a contract to keep to Newsfile.
Right, right. Wow. So in essence, I mean, you spend more of your time being a lawyer than a journalist, but inside, like in your soul.
Every day. Yeah, so we are speaking, as you can see.
You're dressed up for court, yes.
I'm going to court. I have a very important cross-examination to do at 10 o'clock.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But the difficulty is to be able to host Newsfile and host it well. You must be tuned in almost every time to what is going on in the nation.
Yeah.
And, government officials or public office holders who are affected by one way or the other by some story will all need your attention so they can tell you their side of the story.
Yeah.
And all of that comes with documents to read.
Wow.
And yet, I now find myself in a situation where I'm managing a firm of 5 lawyers. So sometimes it's difficult, but I try to dedicate my Fridays. Whilst I tune in and I'm familiar with the things that go around
throughout the week.
Yes, I try to dedicate my Fridays to read for Saturday.
Yeah.
So in doing it that way, it's been all right.
Yeah.
It's been all right. Yeah.
One thing I know you do religiously is you listen to this show, the Super Morning Show.
Do.
And you're always sending us little notes for us to know that you're tuned in and giving us pointers.
So some of the things, the legal stories that you have to read, and then some commentary will come and completely off the mark, and I'm like so I have to try and put it in. Sometimes I may be driving, I have to stop.
Wow.
Yeah, I have to stop. And maybe you have started to discuss an issue, and I think I know a specific law that will help a lot more in the area. I feel almost like an obligation to stop and to draw your attention to it, or something like if somebody were speaking to you on a legal subject, and you know how very unfortunately we even try to interpret the law in political lines, black and white law, straightforward, and yet because
we try to color it with politics.
Some politician, it affects some party or something, they completely decide to turn the law upside down. And when they are doing it, the benefit I get by also sitting on Newsfile is that there are people who reach out to me. So I don't know all of it.
Yeah.
I know only so much. So there are people who reach out to me. You're best of lawyers in this country. And I will confess also that they are actually judges. They listen to your show. They listen to your show. And so things will come up, and they may have delivered a judgment around the subject, or may have done something, so they draw my attention. So, no, this is there. Let your people know about this. It will help them, and so it's been very helpful.
Absolutely.
It's been very helpful. So in some other way, doing what I do and doing the law as well, there's a certain extra benefit I get for the purposes of my law.
Yeah.
Because I'm forced to read more than I would ordinarily have done.
Yeah.
Because subjects are coming up, and I must be abreast with them. Yeah. But I can't know everything. So, and people are pushing the information to me. Somebody is, go read, this case, 1970 that, 1980 that, and I'm forced to go read. Yeah. Once I finish reading, I may use it for the purpose of public education, but I keep it.
Exactly.
I keep that knowledge. Yeah.
It's your asset after that.
Okay. Kojo.
Yes.
I have a very simple question for Samson. Because while we were preparing to do this show, someone whispered to me that you really love to sweep and know how to sweep, and was something you loved when you were a little boy. He understands.
I can see how he's quietly looking at you.
I don't know what he's talking about.
Hey.
So someone whispered to me that while you were at Asanteman Secondary School.
That's true. I get it.
We have arrived at the point, eh?
Okay, so point is, I slept in a church, House of Faith Ministries. Yeah, I was sleeping in the church for almost 1 year plus. So
why?
I took it upon myself. It's a very big church, House of Faith Ministries, really big. So I took it upon myself. There are people who are hired or who are dedicated to doing the sweeping and cleaning. But I said, well, whilst I'm sleeping in the church room, why not?
Might as well sweep.
So
wow.
I take that upon myself and I do it. Yeah.
Why were you sleeping in the church?
I had to.
Wow.
Yeah. I had to. I think that's enough. Yeah.
That's a hint into Samson's origins, and his past, and where he has come from to these dizzy heights. And I think that's inspiring to all of us. One day we'll tell that story too. Maybe not today, because I know you've got to rush off.
Because of that, at the University of Ghana, we had these people we call Eniwek.
Oh yes.
You know about them?
Oh yes, we had
small
them.
Boys.
Yes, we had them at UCC as well.
Boy. Yeah. So, I got to Legon, and then I asked myself, but I was doing this at KNUST. Okay, shoe shine and attending to people, taking care of stuff,
Students, you were doing this for students at KNUST?
Yes, I was in school, and when I'm on break, it was necessary to do.
Wow.
This is not the time to tell stories, that take you to the dark sides, as in, the unfortunate, maybe unfortunate, but, there's a way God works. Right? Yeah, there's a way God works. So,
we'll tell those stories one day. I can't wait. I think you've got a fantastic story to tell, especially for young people to learn from.
Thank you.
But so, one other thing I can guess is that knowing you intend to do something with this award that has been given you. Knowing you have a plan. There's something you want to do, to give back, to make a mark during this year that you are Ghana's best journalist. I wonder what that something might be.
I thought about that this morning, and I asked myself, but I don't even know why you thought about it also. I asked myself, why don't we do this so that those who win that coveted prize have an assignment, some project to undertake. So I thought about this morning, and I said, okay, I'll think around what I can do. So I'm going to think about something. Because you've also been thinking about it, you just thought of it. If you want to make any suggestions,
Samson has given me homework.
Gladly,
some things never change.
I will gladly, consider it.
Absolutely.
and see what I can also do.
Absolutely. Well, whatever you end up doing, we are solidly behind you.
Right.
We are so proud of you. We're so grateful to you for setting such a blistering pace. Giving us something to chase after. We really, really appreciate that. So once again, Ghana's best journalist for the year 2020 as awarded by the Ghana Journalists Association, Samson Lardy Anyenini. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, and it's appropriate to say thank you to all our listeners, our viewers, and to let them know that I'm practically aware literally of the millions who tune in to our shows, and particularly to Newsfile. I have a sense of what is expected of me when I sit on that show. There are elder statesmen who call, who suggest to you. So I get to know that that's such a huge platform. And if you wanted to do the work of God, that's the platform to do it. So that if, in the name of soul sourcing or single source procurement, which is supposed to be, the exception when it becomes the default, you speak about it with all the anger and don't feel any regret, because you can't make sense of the fact that we are borrowing so much money all the time, and we build roads, and the rains will come and the roads will be washed away, and we have to build the roads all over again like a year, two after. It doesn't make sense, So I appreciate that responsibility. And when I read PVA Answers Going to Town, and it's a book I dedicate myself to reading it, Kabla Blair here and his book also, I like to read them and the deep insights that they share, and in a way, the way they're able to sort of evangelize you to think about journalism not as a place to go do work and get your daily bread, but to look at it more like a ministry.
Calling.
As a calling, and to do it and do it well. And I keep saying, if you're a journalist and you have not sat down to read and understand Article 162, particularly Clause 5 of the Constitution, you really need to do that. Then you would understand that we have been handed an onerous responsibility, and yet it is not as if the state is paying us to do that job, and we must do it in a certain way. So I want to say thank you to everybody. Of course, Kwesi Chung, we've had our difficulties. I because I read, sometimes I get people come to the show And when I discern clear misleading, particularly on subjects that I have read enough about, it's so difficult to
just let it go
and to be polite about it. And when you have to do, sometimes you come across as you're talking too much. And I get calls, okay, do it this way, be careful this way, and it's been a long way. I want to say thank you to everybody. Kweku Sechiado mentored me in a great way, even when he didn't know that he was mentoring me. And eventually when he recommended me to the BBC and they got me to work for them, then he got to now more, determined way mentor me in many ways. So thank you all so very much. There are people within the industry I have such deep respect for, and I like to read and follow them. Professor Audrey Gajepo, for example. If you want the deep things of journalism, these are the people you should pay attention to. And I thank all of them and the very many people who have helped to shape the way I try to carry my journalism. My production team at Newsfile, they do all the job, and I give them all the trouble. Yet, when the praise comes, it is just to me. Again, of course, there's the other side. When things go wrong, so to speak, I'm the one that is led to the slaughter. Thank you, Samuel Dame, Matilda Omega, and all of you for the good job you do on Newsfile to enable me to execute my job. I understand the expectations and the responsibilities thrust upon me, and I can commit to be even better. So thank you all so very much.
We're solidly behind you, Samson.
Thank you.
Congratulations once
Thank
again.
you.
God bless you. Samson, Lardy, Anyenini, everyone. Oh, goodness. What an inspiring story. And we will hear more from him in the coming days, no doubt, as he starts his reign as GJA Journalist of the Year. All right, well, coming up on the Super Morning Show.
It is the MPP who started throwing the stones. Tell them we will meet them food for food. This gunshot from them, they've run away. We will see what will happen here. Yes,
Yeah, this happened just yesterday in Odododiodio. NDC and NPP apparently went for a peace walk that ended in violence. A violent peace walk. They call that an oxymoron for a reason. We're back with more after these.